It is 2026. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I feel like there's something truly special waiting around the corner this year. I have this kind of youthful optimism towards it, from everyday life to, of course, fashion, and especially the fashion trends that I'm expecting to see that I'm personally going to be wearing in 2026. For anyone that doesn't know, obviously it is a new year, so I'm hoping to welcome in a lot of new people. I am Tayshan, or as I go on social media, shun_t. This is not my general layout, but I'm back home. Usually I live in Copenhagen, but for the holidays I'm back here. And I make fashion content, exploring fashion, styling and culture, and how they all define our style within everyday life. And so I'm going to dive into some of the trends that I'm really enjoying and ones that I'm going to be wearing in 2026. 2025 seen the rise in the humble accessory. And I know saying that might sound a bit vague or obvious, like of course accessories are something that's already popular within fashion, but I feel the approach that people took was something very, very different. And I can definitely say across social media, there were lots of videos where people were putting a new and heavy emphasis on accessories. But above all, the accessory that I think has popped off in 2025 and will continue its rise in 2026 is the tie. And I've seen it styled in so many cool and unique ways, from wearing it as its intended way around your neck, to even using them as belts as well. I think people have had a really interesting approach to this. But there is a duality with it. With this interesting approach, I feel like I've also started to see it become overused and oversaturated to some degree. Sometimes it feels like people use a tie as a way of showing that it's a fashion. I can put a tie on with any outfit to show how stylish they are and to get the respect of other fashion people, but I don't think that's how ties should be used. So I think to really use it effectively, you have to be intentional about your use of a tie. And I think as the year goes on, people start to experiment with ties even more, changing the shape of the ties that they're using and also changing what they're using as a tie. A few years ago, square ties were really, really popular, especially around the Japanese kind of archive fashion scene. I think it was Yohji Yamamoto, he had released a tie and I've seen people flocking towards it. And as that was kind of a niche idea then, I see that approach becoming more and more popular across next year. This will probably lead to things like bandanas becoming ties and silk scarves becoming ties, which I've used myself and I really, really like. So when looking for ties, I think the best place to look is definitely secondhand. Vintage shops, charity shops, they have such a wide range of ties at such a low price point, it's kind of silly not to go there first. But if you're looking for a very specific style, then definitely look higher end fashion. Like I said, Yohji Yamamoto, I believe, released one a few years ago, a square tie with cool designs on it. And as well, even your everyday shops, like the supermarkets, they sell ties as well. So when it comes to an accessory, this is one that is really accessible by literally anyone. Anyone can find a tie and anyone can wear one. And another accessory that I've really been enjoying has been brooches and pins. With the rise of social media, a lot of styles are kind of blending and merging, and sometimes it feels like a lot of people are wearing the same things. But through customization with a pin or a badge, it allows an outfit to become truly unique and reflective of your own personality. I have one of my favorite jackets, which I have tons and tons of pins on. And literally whenever I go to a new place or I go to an event and I will have a memory, I buy a pin and I put it on that jacket. Just because I think it adds intrigue and it's a good conversation starter, but also shows what I'm into and where I've been in the world. And I think on the opposite side of pins is brooches. Brooches I've seen styled in more of a formal way, usually on a blazer and sometimes also on hats as well. This has been used as a way to add whimsy or a bit more fun to the everyday boring suit. And this is something that I will definitely be looking for within this year. I want to go and find some really cool vintage brooches and just throw them all over a blazer to make something really, really cool. Like imagine a shoot where you're wearing a blazer that's been customized with tons of different pins and badges and brooches. That's a bit of me. And I think the use of ties and brooches reflect the idea of how formal wear and casual wear are slowly merging into one entity within itself.
We don't do Nike tech, we don't do coffee, It's straight quarter zips and marches around here.
Jeans, cargos, and chinos can only get you so far. But adding a pair of tailored pants and throwing on something like a hoodie with it, which is so unconventional, it just subverts our expectations of what fashion is, and I think it adds something special to an outfit. That's how I personally love styling them. And because suiting and formal wear is something that has been ingrained in fashion for so long, it is so easy to find vintage. Blazers are everywhere, tailored pants are everywhere. It might take a while to find the perfect pair for you, but once you find them, you will not be able to stop wearing them. And also, because of this merge, it's become so much more accessible to find these clothes, even in shops like Zara or COS or Uniqlo. And this isn't even just clothing either. I think shoes have been following this trend as well. Shoes like the New Balance loafers, the perfect merge between a trainer and a loafer. You have the Adidas bowling shoe. A bowling shoe is something that you would have thought you'd either wear only for bowling or something like a granddad would wear, but now these are the new norm. And I think with that in 2026, we will see this merge even more. And I'm predicting a big shoe will probably be something that combines like the mountaineering and hiking aesthetic along with the everyday casual trainer, and then also maybe blends formal elements as well. Let me ask you a question. When you think of clothing being seductive in menswear, what do you think? Stereotypically, this is usually wearing tight-fitting clothing or wearing less clothing. But I think within recent years, menswear has started to take inspiration from women's wear in a sense. They're no longer being obvious with their approach to seductiveness or intimacy within an outfit or piece of clothing. I think now it is more about showing skin in a subtle way or kind of letting the mind wander in certain ways. Let me give you some examples. There's been a massive rise in lace and sheer materials across 2025, especially in summer. Obviously, you have to keep cool in the summertime, so you can be wearing things that are more breathable. That typically does end up being lacy or sheer materials, but I think they've been approached in a different way. People are now wearing suits with lace and with sheer clothes. I think really the best approach to this has been when you show the skin, but you don't overtly show it. So you might show a bit of a shoulder, or a bit of the collarbone, or a bit of the waist. And we've seen that with crop clothing and wide collars. And I think that's personally going to be my approach in 2026. I'm going to be wearing things that have a wider collar, so you can see my collarbone, because the collarbone is like a very intimate and delicate part of the body, but it's very nice to see. And obviously people are wearing a lot more cropped t-shirts and jackets and things of that nature to highlight and accentuate the waist. Even when it comes to trend predictions, one that I've seen everywhere from Pinterest to social media influencers is the rise of pajama style clothing. And I don't think they literally mean pajamas when they talk about this. I think it's more, they're saying this kind of looser fitting, elegant, sheer, softer materials becoming more and more apparent within menswear. And I think this adds to how we're changing how we perceive seductiveness within menswear. You're adding this kind of silk and flowy things that add elegance in a way, but are also kind of appealing to the eye with the movement and how flowy they are. And an example that I want to say, and look at the LVMH winner, his main style go-to is these big oversized suits, kind of taking inspiration from the 80s, but also it ties more into what we're saying. Clothes are going to be loose, they're going to be flowy, they're going to be flamboyant in a sense, eccentric, but fun. And if you want to invest in this, I think it's kind of hard to do looking vintage. So that's when I would look to your high fashion brands. So I know brands like Loewe are really good for this. And also COS, Arcade will have things like this. And for that trend I'm going to go into, I want you to think, do you think clothes are becoming more and more saturated? There's this growing idea that clothes are becoming the same. Everything looks the same, and hence the need to disturb the status quo. And I think asymmetry has been a really good way and a fun way that people have been approaching this with recently. Shape and silhouette is something that defines every single garment. And I've seen people take really different approaches to this. Zippers are now misaligned, they're no longer in the middle, they're now to the side. You have seams that are twisted on pants. You have buttons that go across the full body instead of being just in the middle. And I think I do want to explore this trend in 2026. I'm on the lookout for an asymmetric jacket or an asymmetric hoodie, just something that is interesting to look at and makes people go, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And I think it's hard for me because it's still kind of hard to find these clothes at lower price point. I know in women's wear in the early 2000s, asymmetry was kind of big, so it could be easier for women to get into this, but as it is still a niche idea and it hasn't fully hit the swing of the mainstream yet, no brands are really selling this at a good price point, for me anyways. And when I think of some alternative brands that I know make clothes like this, I'd probably think of Find Chaos, which is a Danish brand, or CDG, which I think has varying prices, but you can find it secondhand for somewhat cheap. So those are the trends I'm going to be wearing in 2026. I want to know what trends you guys are going to be wearing this year. Obviously, it's a brand new year, and that means fashion cycle is about to start all over again. Fashion week is coming up, so we're going to see how people are approaching, I guess, fall and winter of the next year. But it's all very, very exciting to see. And as I said before, I am Tayshan, and if you want to see more fashion content on YouTube, because there's a bit of a mix, then make sure to subscribe and follow me. I have so much planned for this year, from trips to clothing reviews to delving into brands, into delving into different subcultures and reasons of why certain fashion trends exist. I cannot wait, I'm so excited, and I want you guys to be here to explore it. Of course, if you want to follow me on social media as well, that'd be greatly appreciated. It is shun_t, that is shun_t. Once again, I want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.